So recently, Monique decided to roast her estranged son on stage in front of everybody, putting their business out there once again. A lot of people didn't like it. Just Hilarious was one of the people who also didn't take too kindly of it. But before we get to that, I want to play this clip to remind you what DL Hughley had to say about Monique and her estranged family.
It's interesting. You know what else you won't see Monique doing? You won't ever see her with her family, videos with her children or grandchildren, because nobody with me. How do you have sweet babies when your own babies are with you? How do you love us for real when there's no evidence of anybody loving you for real except your daddy, who you apparently have to pay? And FYI, daughters are paid for by daddies, not daddies who get paid by their daughters. You know what else you won't see Monique doing? Telling jokes. Monique, if she'd have spent as much time actually writing jokes and writing her Netflix special as she did complaining about not having one, it wouldn't have been trash. You talked about how my children, families are uplifted. They weren't when you were running across Vegas. I mean, the stage in Detroit. They weren't when you talking on social media. When you got your ass whipped and your tickets dropped, then they became off limits. But let's do this. Let's decide that you will treat my children like you treat yours, like you don't know them, invisible, like you have no relationship with them, like you're estranged, you're unfamiliar, like you don't know them.
Well, DL was cooking on that one, wasn't he? But let's go to the part of the actual joke where she decides to roast her son.
Monique responds to her son's viral TikTok videos. So she did a comedy show not too long ago. She was on stage as a part of Katt Williams' tour, and this is the joke that she told.
I'm coming to that motherfucking airport, and I done just seen this motherfucking TikTok of my son. And I'm walking through the motherfucking Newark airport, and this elderly woman comes up to me. She said, Monique. I said, ma'am. She said, let me talk to you for a minute. So I had prepared myself for this old woman to tell me how fucked up I was. I prepared myself to be respectful, but to check if I had to. I prepared myself to listen. She said, listen, my grandbaby called me and told me to watch this TikTok of your son. And I watched that shit. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, I want to tell you something. I said, ma'am. She said, that nigga.
Well, whether she did or whether she didn't, I still don't ever think it's cool to ever be like, F your kids. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like it when Corey Holcomb said F his daughter, and I don't even like him. But I can literally, like, I don't like that. You know what I mean? We obviously don't. I honestly don't even like how they put it out there, her and her husband, that he has mental health issues or whatever like that. You know, we obviously see there's a hurt child. He's a grown man, but this should just all not be online, on the stage. Go repair that.
I agree with everything you're saying, Jess, but that's the sad part about when you make something public. When you make something public, now everybody feels like it's their business too. And so now somebody coming up to you telling you F your child, and it's like, whoa. You don't get to say that.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? I might feel like that, but you don't get to say that. But then again, do they get to say that? Because it is public.
It is.
So they have an opinion about it.
I'm sorry.
And Monique was the first person to bring it up, right? She was the first person to talk about it, and the young man responded. So, yeah, I mean, people can make their own opinion.
Not even an 80-year-old woman can walk up to me and tell me, F my son. That'll be our last day 80. I'm telling you. Whatever. I don't care what me and my son going through.
Like
she will not see 81. And she lived a long, great life anyway. Don't play. Chris.
But no, remove us from the group chat, though. I don't want to know any more of Monique's family business.
Repair that.
That's none of our business. Take us out.
Chris Brown calls out rough.
And this is what I agree with. We shouldn't be privy to this information that you and your family is going through. Why decide to put y'all family business out there for people to hear and dissect? And you know what I'm saying? Because it's obvious that when you do that and you put the internet and the world in between you and your son, how are y'all going to be able to heal and come together and like fix that? It's going to be hard because you're steady going to be trying to prove your world to prove your point to the world. You understand what I'm saying? Like, the son felt some type of way. I had never heard of son before, but he felt some type of way because, you know, during this club Shay Shay and afterwards, all the responses that she's doing and this, that, and that, she didn't even acknowledge him as a son. And it's like, okay, so you got a strange son, but y'all trying to get together or y'all trying to get along or whatever, and you choose to go on these platforms and not even acknowledge him as a son. Like, what son wouldn't feel slighted by that? Like, yo, you acknowledge this new man, your new husband's kids, but you don't acknowledge me. Like, that's crazy. And then after him obviously feeling some type of way about that, you go on the platform and double down and say F your son because you had a conversation with an old prostitute at the airport. And this woman's words. This was the rest of the joke Monique was talking about. She said the lady said she was an old prostitute back in the civil rights days. And it's like, okay, so that's not to like discredit her opinion or whatever, but I'm just saying it kind of made more sense to me that this was the advice that Monique was getting, that it came from this type of chick. You know what I'm saying? This is the old civil rights version of today's modern Instagram OnlyFans model. You know what I'm saying? So doesn't surprise me. But yeah, of course you're gonna offend your son and drive a wedge in between y'all even more. This is what he had to say about the situation. He kept it lighthearted and I mean, because what else can you do besides laugh to keep from crying? You know what I'm saying?
Be gone, Satan! I rebuke thee in the name of Black Jesus.
So he says, dang, mama, I still love you, though. Laughter will get me through. And for him to laugh it off is about the best response that you could take. Because what other path would it be to take? To keep going back and forth with your mama on social media, which we know how ratchet and foul-mouthed she is. So we know where that's going to lead. It's just going to keep leading to her getting on stage and being Monique as we see here. Not so much telling jokes, but just because it just seemed like every time I see a so-called joke from Monique, it's a 5-minute long clip of her cussing somebody out, tearing somebody down, ripping somebody apart. It don't seem like it's no joke in it though, right? Except for when she in movies. Like when she in movies, to me, she hilarious. But it's her stand-up is just seem to be like this tear down tactic that is just not funny to me. And I ain't gonna lie, I got a small chuckle out of the joke. Just, it ain't make my sides hurt laughing or nothing, but you chuckle because it's reminiscent of the classic Bernie Mac F them kids. You know what I'm saying? But just because Bernie Mac got that joke off back then too, don't make it right. Right? Bernie Mac also talking about going upside the kid's head with a hammer. You laughed hard at it, but don't make it right. And the thing is, especially as time and internet has evolved into today's world, it is just very off-putting to keep putting your family business out in the street like that, especially if it's during a time where you and your family ain't getting along. It could be different in the sense of kind of if you putting it out there and y'all are already healed about it and your family is at the show laughing with you about this joke. And they're able to laugh and the world is able to laugh and you able to laugh. But when you trying to get through this and you throwing it out there because you really getting your truth off in the joke. You really feel like F your kids and you saying it's a joke, but it's really the truth. Like Shannon put it perfectly on how he said people disguise jokes, because it's truth in jokes and it's how people be really feeling. People be really hating and feeling some type of way about you, which is the reason they choose to get these jokes off. Like, listen to what he had to say.
And I said, Mike, you tell me the fun in it for me that you can lie on my name. I said, and guys out there, if I said your wife has been flushed more than a stadium bathroom, you gonna be cool with that? Ooh. Hell no, you not. If I say things about you. If you got a child that's slow, and I made jokes about that, you okay with that? No. So why should I be okay? It's just jokes. And I told him this. I said, what I'm starting to see is that jealousy, hate, and envy is being disguised in jokes. I said, that's what I'm seeing.
So you see the jealousy and envy has popped up for Shannon Sharpe, because only since this Katt Williams interview, never before, he's been on TV for a long time, but only since the Katt Williams interview has everybody want to come out and crack all these jokes on top of jokes about Shannon Sharpe. And I believe it's the same in like Monique's situation, but it's hate, right? She's not jealous or envious of her son. I don't know, but I think it's a certain hatred that she's developed towards her son for whatever reason that they've been going back and forth. And the rest of her family, her sisters and all of that, her actual family that don't mess with her, everybody outside of who she's paying, which is her daddy, as she calls it. She recognizes him, and she recognizes his children. You know what I'm saying? But she don't recognize her biological child. Like, that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. And then to hear how she talks about it on stage, you know, because she tried to hit you with the sweet babies and talk all proper when she's sitting down in interviews, but then you see the real loudmouth, funky, foul-mouthed soul of her come out on the stage where she really let it rip. And I'm sorry, I believe that part of her more than the sweet baby part and all of that. You know what I'm saying? But more than anything, I believe that they should just stop putting this family information out there, because it's like constantly picking at a scab. You're just going to make the wound keep reopening, making it worse. But this is boy P Camp. Let me know what you think, what you don't think. Get at your boy.